Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're having a fantastic day so far. So this year in 2024, there are still 10 states that tax a portion of your Social Security benefit. However, one state is looking to get rid of that Social Security tax, so it's obviously some pretty good news. We're going to be going over which state that is, plus a new bipartisan bill which just released, which would give more money to Ukraine and other countries, but would also contribute to our border security as well. So we'll be going over that bill. But before we go ahead and dive into the main content of today's video, if you wouldn't mind helping out real quickly by just giving this video a like, that just helps out with the good old YouTube algorithm, and also consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already. Plus, if you would like to receive up to $9,000 in free stocks or $9,000 in free cash, in a pinned comment below, I will be leaving a link to Webull. All you have to do is once you click on that link, is just sign up for a free account and then deposit at least 1 penny. At that point, Webull will be sending you at least 3 free stocks worth, once again, all the way up to $9,000. And if you'd rather just have the cash, all you have to do is once you receive those free stocks, is just sell them for what they're worth and then transfer the cash value right back to your bank account. Okay, so diving right into our lead story of today's video, like I mentioned just a moment ago, this year in 2024, there are still 10 states that tax a portion of your Social Security benefit. So you have your federal taxation on your Social Security benefit, and then there are also 10 states that want their share of your benefit as well. So those states, according to the Motley Fool, are Colorado, Connecticut, Kansas, Minnesota, Montana, New Mexico, Rhode Island, Utah, Vermont, and West Virginia. And they mentioned here that it's worth noting that Missouri and Nebraska residents could still owe Social Security benefit taxes when they file their 2023 returns this year, but they won't have that tax in future years. Now, there's actually one state that wants to get rid of the Social Security tax altogether as well, and according to this article, Governor Jim Justice of West Virginia calls to eliminate the personal income tax on Social Security. Has become a 3-year phase out under a bill advanced by the House Finance Committee. Leaders of the committee said they want to provide a tax break for seniors while also being cautious about the state's budget. So the Social Security proposal is one of the 3 tax breaks the governor proposed during his State of the State speech. One is a state child independent care tax credit. The other would expand the senior citizen homestead property tax cut. The administration estimated the 3 tax breaks combined add up to about $50 million. The legislation advanced by delegates Friday would build on a 2019 bill signed into law by the governor to exempt Social Security income from personal income taxes for most West Virginians, particularly those in lower tax brackets. That was also a 3-year phase out. This proposal would exempt those in higher tax brackets from being taxed on Social Security benefits. The bill was introduced in the House of Delegates as HB 4880. So obviously that's pretty good news for residents of the state of West Virginia. Now also at the federal level, since people are being taxed on their Social Security benefits at the federal level as well, that is becoming more and more of a higher percentage of people receiving Social Security benefits. When they first started this tax out, very few people were having to pay tax on their Social Security benefits. But over the years, since those brackets have not changed, adjusted for inflation like they should be, we have a higher percentage of Americans who receive Social Security benefits paying taxes on their benefits, which really doesn't make that much sense considering that you're working your whole working career paying into the system via the Social Security payroll tax. But then whenever you receive your benefits, you're having to pay a percentage of your taxes on those benefits as well. So obviously this doesn't make a bunch of sense, but we do have certain bills out there that would eliminate the Social Security tax at the federal level as well, but whether or not that'll actually pass, we'll have to wait and see. Now, another bill is being introduced right now in Congress, since it looks like the other bill that will give funding to Ukraine, Israel, and other countries looks like it's going to be dead on arrival in the House, and they now have a new bipartisan bill which would also give funding to Ukraine, Israel, and other parts of the world, but it would also add some stricter provisions at the border as well, which might be more enticing to some Republicans in the House, where they could actually get this bill to pass. So according to The Hill, lawmakers unveiled bipartisan bill combining Ukraine aid and border security. So a bipartisan group of moderate House lawmakers unveiled an emergency funding bill Friday that includes aid for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan, in addition to border security policy, as centrists seek another option for helping U.S. allies after Republicans threw cold water on the foreign aid package passed by the Senate earlier in in the week. The legislation, dubbed the Defending Borders, Defending Democracies Act, would allocate $66.32 billion to the Defense Department to support embattled nations, including roughly $47 billion for Ukraine, $10 billion for Israel, $5 billion for Indo-Pacific, and $2 billion to support operations in the U.S. Central Command. As far as the border portion of the bill goes, it would resurrect the Remain in Mexico policy for 1 year, which requires that migrants looking to enter the U.S., including through asylum, are required to return to the country they left as proceedings are underway in the United States. Whereas right now, someone can enter the country seeking asylum, and then they're released inside the United States with a potential court date, and then they can decide whether or not they want to show up to that court date or not. A lot of people decide just not to show up to the court date because they might find that they are not granted asylum and then sent back to the country, so they don't even want to take that risk and they just leave into the United States. And whether or not they're found, well, it just depends. But of course, we have some people who are already coming out in objection to this bill or any additional foreign aid to Ukraine or any other country. One of these senators is Senator Rand Paul, and this is his explanation why he thinks there shouldn't be more aid given out. Watch.
What we have here is a Ukraine first bill. This bill was never really about securing our border, but about securing another country's border. What we have here is a failure of the elites of Washington on both sides of the aisle, the leadership in the Democrat Party, the leadership in the Republican Party. What we have here is a failure of these elites to understand that the American people want to put America first. 61% of Americans live from paycheck to paycheck, and they want to put Ukraine first. I want you to talk to your constituents at home, the ones who live paycheck to paycheck, and tell them why you're shipping $60 billion to Ukraine. This will be $170 billion. We have never before in the history of the United States flooded so much money into another country. 61% of our country lives paycheck to paycheck. 8 out of 10 families that make $50,000 or less don't have enough money to pay for their bills in 2 weeks if their check doesn't come. If they have one interruption in their family, one thing that sets them back, one unexpected expense, they don't have enough money to pay their bills, and you want to put Ukraine first. This is why the Democrat Party is losing the working man. This is why the Republicans have become the party of the working class. This is why many, if not most, members of the unions are now looking at Republicans, because we support the working man. We support the working women of America, and we recognize that they do not want to send their hard-earned money and taxes halfway across the world. What does their money go for? Do we know what they're doing with their money in Ukraine? Well, we do know that the money went to fund 6 fashion brands to go to the Paris Fashion Show. We do know that it's funding small businesses to sell ladies' handbags. We do know that it's paying for the salaries of 57,000 first responders. What about the first responders in our country? What about the people who get in an ambulance and have a $35,000 bill in our country? What about tackling the problems of America first? Instead, this bill is a Ukraine first bill. It's a Ukraine first policy. According to the Ukraine First Party, which includes elites of both parties, war is good. War is useful. War profits make us stronger. Sounds a bit Orwellian. They say that war profits will build the defense industrial base. This is the part they used to say quietly. They used to whisper this. They used to never say it out loud, that war profits fund the defense industrial base, and by golly, we're going to be stronger the more war profits there are. According to the Ukraine First Party, war's not so bad. War profits make us stronger.
So leave your thoughts and comments below. Do you believe what Rand Paul is saying here is correct Would definitely love to read your comments on that, but that's all we have for today's video. I certainly hope that you enjoyed and found value out of it. If you did, again, I would greatly appreciate if you could give this video a like, consider subscribing to my channel if you have not already, and I will see you in the next video.